What is going on, guys? I am Martin from TheFiveMarks, and we are here dropping another interview for you people. So, we were just talking about it there, that it has been a very, very long time since we've had you on. April 29, 2023. How the fucking time flies. But I am sat here with the man, the legend, Mr. Simon Hill.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah, I do you know what we were talking about it off air. I can't believe it has been that long since our last interview. It doesn't seem that long at all, but yeah, great to be back, man. Thank you so much for getting in touch, reaching out, and yeah, doing this all over again.
No worries at all. I mean, it kind of had to be done, especially with what's coming up in
Yeah.
2 weeks. Where the fuck's the time go? One thing I wanted to bring up straight away, because a lot of the lads take the piss out of me for this. What was the last interview? I spoke to you about how I've been looking at you going, I fucking know this dude. Why do I know this dude from somewhere? And it had turned out that we had done EGX with 2K all them years ago. I think it was like 2018. The
Yeah.
amount of people that would laugh at me going, Martin, how do you like look at someone and go, sure, where have I seen this guy? And it was one of the biggest things that you had done at the time. It's
And
not
then the
my
infamous
fault.
photo.
And
Like,
the infamous photo, which was on my Instagram for God knows how many years, and it was literally lying in bed that one night. I went, "Fucking EGX, where's that fucking photo?" I was like, "There's Simon. That's why I know Simon."
yeah, yeah. Man, the world works in mysterious ways, dude. You know, because that was, I think, because I was co-hosting 2K stuff on PlayStation Access and Twitch and everything. And yeah, that was such a cool weekend. I do miss those days, man. Like, you know, they were the elite kind of uh, network gaming days that you
Yeah,
just used to hang out with everyone. You used to go for drinks, food, chill, and then you'd do the work and stuff. They were busy times, but that was so much fun, man.
getting to interact with all the people and be like, "Hey, you want to like try out the new WWE game? I'll 1v1 you, and I'll kick your ass." But
I remember doing that in London at MCM, and we created a bit of a competition. And Pete Dunne jumped on at one point, and yeah, managed to beat him too. So that was awesome.
I mean, if you be now, if you transition that to the ring, where does that go from there? Then who wins that?
No, he batters me every day, all day. You know.
You won't be sitting here with fingers, anyways.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah.
So, how have things been since April 23, which we've discovered now?
Oh man, busy, non-stop. But that's the way I like it. You know what I'm like. You know, I think one of the guys who I work with at Warsaw Football Club said, "You just seem the busiest man on Twitter that I've ever seen," and it's
Yeah.
it's true, man. It's not just for social media. I don't stop, but yeah, you know, like the esports was kicking off last year. So did all that stuff with like Adam Cole and Claudio Castagnoli, and straight into Insomnia interviewing the cast of Resident Evil and amongst many other games. And then it was just in between all the wrestling stuff. You know, I worked for 9 different promotions last year, up and down the country and further. And then, you know, on top of that, with all the stuff with OTT,
Yeah.
you know, the heart promotion right there. Um, you know, there was some really amazing moments last year. And then this year's not been much different. It's been a little quieter in some areas, but the opposite side of that has kept me busy in other areas. So again, it's just juggling the world as I go along and, you know, kind of figuring it all out as we go.
Because I was mentioning this earlier on. Like, it's not like you're doing one thing. You're not just doing the wrestling commentary, but like the wrestling commentary, all the stuff in esports, a DJ, working with a football club. Like, you're kept very busy all the time. Like, to kind of mix four things together must be very, very difficult.
It's very difficult. It's very challenging, and you know, it's one of those where I'll plan weeks in advance on what I'm doing and how it's looking, and even then, when it comes to the days or the weeks leading up, it's still something changes, something's added, something new, something another opportunity comes in that you then have to think about. But I think that's just the way, because I'm freelance in everything I do. I always do the stuff I love. So yeah, it's a challenge. Occasionally there's a little bit of stress there to make sure everything's where it needs to be. But essentially every single job I go to isn't a job. I'm just going to have fun. And I'm really fortunate to be in that position, because not a lot of people in this world are in that position.
Now, I'm going to start off things on. I know this, and people are going to hate this. This is a wrestling podcast. This is a wrestling
Mm-hmm.
interview. But
Absolutely.
I'm a geek, so too bad everyone listening. Esports.
Yes.
You mentioned it there, and I want to talk about it. Getting to work with Adam Cole and Claudio Castagnoli, and it was Rainbow Six, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
How did that come about? And what you like? There had to be some nerves kind of going into that.
Well, you'd think so, but I had no idea it was happening.
Oh,
So, yeah, it was even worse. So obviously we had the Rainbow Six, Rainbow Rumble finals, which were taking place in London. It was in a studio environment, so we were hosting the live tournament, and AEW were in town because it was Wembley.
hmm.
And all I was told at one point in the day, it was earlier on in the day, was by the director, who said, "I'm going to play some cue cards under your desk. Don't pick them up until you need to." I was like, "How will I know when I need to?" He's like, "You'll know." Right. Okay. So anyway, link's coming up, and I'm getting my mic altered and things like that. And the producer comes up and goes, "Right. So hitting this link with this, obviously big reaction to what just happened in the tournament, and just flow with it. Some stats for you. Sound. We go. We're live." All of a sudden, out of my peripheral, I see the studio door open, which in any studio environment is a huge no when you're live.
Yeah.
It's the ultimate red tape, you know. And I'm looking, and this huge figure walks through the door. He covers the frame of the door. I'm like, what is going on? So I carry on with my link, and the lights start hitting this person who's walking towards the live set. So he walks in front of the camera then and stands directly in front of it. So the people who are watching live can't see him, but we can.
Yeah.
So immediately I pop, you can hear my reaction, and it's Claudio. So then I go to pick these cue cards up because I remember, and I see them sticking out. So I'm going, this must be what he meant. Surely this is the moment where these cue cards come in play. Well, before I even go to pick them up, I go to carry on with this link with Claudio of just like, "Oh, thanks for joining us." And he stops me whilst I'm talking. And what we didn't have, which was a shame because they actually intended for us to hear it in the studio, was Adam Cole's music. Everyone at home heard it who was watching live. And, there were hundreds of thousands of people tuning in. And they heard Adam Cole's music, but we didn't. So Claudio stops me and mid-link, and he's going, "No, no, no, I'm not alone." And I look towards the studio door again because I see it open again. And I can't see who it is. I can just see black. And until he steps into the light. And that's when I actually lose it. So my professional head goes completely out the window. The footage is online. And yeah, it's me just completely losing my shit because Adam Cole walks in. Now, I was a massive Adam Cole mark in the gold and black era,
Yeah.
the NXT era.
My boys.
Still, for me, arguably one of the best eras of any wrestling brand ever, period. And Adam Cole was my boy. He's the reason I tuned in. So anyway, he's walking in, and yeah, like I almost walk off set. So it's a giant green screen, but it's been AI augmented,
Yeah.
so to make the depth up. And yeah, my reaction was completely natural, and I think actually the production company posted it recently. It might be on my Twitter within like 6 or 7 tweets. about how my reaction was just so pure, so genuine, because it was. I had no idea that Adam Cole and Claudio Castagnoli were going to roll up on set whilst I'm hosting a live esports tournament viewed by hundreds of thousands of people. And when Adam Cole then came up, so Adam and Claudio were like, so I assume we're okay to stand here, like everything's live, and I'm like, I don't know. So I look off the side to the producer who's over here, and he gives me the nod. So I'm like, yeah, well, the producer said it's okay, so you're fine. So I pick up these cue cards, and I'm just like, man, what is going on with my life? Like, I'm standing here interviewing Adam Cole and Claudio Castagnoli live for everyone to see. Like, any person in the world can see what we're doing right now. So look, yeah, overwhelmed, yeah, grateful, 100%. And to have that opportunity to then go outside and speak with the guys during the break was incredible. They were so friendly. So Adam was actually very kind and very so what I'm looking for. He was very appreciative with his wording towards me, and very complimentary of my presenting style, which was very nice to hear from somebody who works in a broadcast environment at the highest level. So to get that as well from Adam was great, and he also recorded a nice little video message for my girlfriend, who's a professional wrestler as well. But yeah, in all, man, like that experience, I will never ever forget for the rest of my life.
I think they couldn't have gotten a better kind of presenter because you have someone who knows esports but also is a wrestling fan. So what do? Don't tell him shit and watch him go crazy.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it happened. So the reason that Ubisoft wanted me more so for this, obviously, I've hosted the Rainbow Six MPL for them previously, which has no affiliation with wrestling. But obviously, with this project in particular, they wanted something a little bit different because it was so unique. They almost wanted to merge those two worlds together, hence the name Rainbow Rumble, because that tournament began months before until we got to the finals. So having me host the finals, they approached me with the idea and just pitched it and said, look, there is no one better. Look, I am under no illusion that you have the best esports presenters in the world. Ian Chambers, great guy, love him to bits. And he's someone, again, who's been super complimentary and a really cool dude to me. But I look up to that guy and go, man, he's on fire. There's no one better on the scene for me right now. You've got Ginny as well, who's exploded onto the scene out of nowhere, but she's taken those opportunities and ran with them. But when they gave me that opportunity to do this, it was because those two worlds they wanted to merge together are those two worlds that I thrive in. And we just mashed it all together and we made it work.
Now, one thing I wanted to kind of talk about, because like I am like massive nerd when it comes to the whole esports things. Like I love the competitions. I watched what was the Overwatch League, obviously the Call of Duty League going on and stuff. I'm a massive person in that and stuff. How did you end up breaking into the esports kind of world?
So try and cut a long story short. So I began in gaming journalism, and started writing reviews for like the regional newspapers and things like that. And I would travel to all these events. I get invited to all these events from publishers and developers. And then I eventually started working at this TV station, and I was producing a music show with my good friend Johnny Doom, formerly of Kerrang Radio, for those who may know the name. And we'd known each other years before that. And it was one of those things, I was kind of feeling things out. And I was like, do you know what we don't have anymore? We don't have a gaming TV show. We don't have Games Master, which we used to have back in the day with Dominic Diamond. And so I wrote that treatment. I brushed it up, and I submitted that treatment, sat in the office with all the board of directors for that TV station, and they read the treatment. They said, film the pilot, come back, and let's have a look. So we filmed the pilot at EGX. I was standing under this huge 60-foot TIE fighter whilst I was doing the introduction. So you can imagine the crowds gathering with all these camera crews, me standing under this 60-foot TIE fighter. I've got the EA reps either side just watching what's going on. And we put the pilot together, send it, and we all go and watch it together with the big wigs. And they went, brilliant, we're going to commission you for 2 seasons. So after that, I started putting reels together, started getting involved. What more can I do? How can I grow? Esports was obviously becoming very, very big at that time. So I started pushing the boat a little bit more, and I then got a job. And my first esports job was with Belong Gaming Arenas, and it was hosting their winter finals, which so they pick hosts that will fit the games, fit the product. But one of the hosts was ill. Now, I'll be quite honest and very transparent here. I know nothing about League of Legends. So they got me hosting FIFA, Mortal Kombat. I think Overwatch was the other one. Yeah, Overwatch was the final, the one where I'm handing the trophy. So those I'm good with, like played those kind of games for many, many years. All good. League of Legends comes up, they're like, look, he's not here. Can you fill in on League of Legends? I'm like, I have no idea.
Maybe.
So I'm there just reading what is League of Legends. We've got like an hour and a half turnaround. So I'm absorbing as much knowledge as possible and trying to come up with some of the technical terminology used within League of Legends on what certain aspects of that realm are. And I used them to full effect. I got through on the basic of basics, and we made it work. So that was my first esports job, and it kind of expanded from there. The biggest breakthrough, though, we'd just come out of COVID, or we were coming out of COVID, and ESL got in touch and asked me to go and work and effectively live in Poland for just over a month. And I couldn't travel back because COVID rules. So I lived in Poland for over a month and worked for ESL. And that was incredible because I hosted a weekly show with Jason Kaplan, who, again, if you know that name, is a unbelievable talent in esports, one of the OGs, the originals. And, to get that experience, to work with him, to learn from him. And we had such a great relationship, a funny relationship. Some of the stuff you see on those broadcasts are real. They're on the spot. They're not rehearsed. Even when we were rehearsing, sometimes we'd kind of annoy the producers a little bit who wanted just to get stuff done. And we're just there ripping each other to shreds because he's 6'4", maybe 6'5". I'm 5'10" at a push. So I had to for the broadcast stand on one of the amp box, what do they call them? You take them to concerts. They're like amp boxes, and I had to stand on one of those for the duration of the broadcast. So like occasionally be like, oh, just get back on your box, shut up, kind of thing. And yeah, so straight after that in ESL, that's when I started getting a lot more work in esports, because when you're seen working with ESL, you're seen as working for one of the, if not the biggest organization in esports. And in between all of that, I got nominated twice for Presenter of the Year in esports, lost both times to Frankie Ward, which, you know what, I'm fine for that. If I'm coming second to Frankie Ward, let her carry on. She's another one. She actually helped me with everything from a background standpoint whilst I'm prepping everything for Poland and getting everything together. She helped me with all of that.
Mm.
Another person that I was fortunate to get to know over the years of working in this industry.
One thing I wanted to talk about there, because you mentioned how obviously back in the day there was nothing for gaming going on in the UK, and you just kind of said, look, here's a market, let's kind of go into it. I feel like
Mm.
it's here, at least in Ireland and the UK, it's kind of slowly gone back that way. Like you have everything over in the States now. It's all codly, like kind of uh like ESL's kind of died down a bit. I don't know why the name is not coming to me, because I will. MOG
Yeah,
gone. All
yeah.
those type of things are gone.
Jinx as well. They've kind of faded out a little
Yeah,
bit as well. That
it's
used to be on Sky and stuff, but
all these things have just kind of faded away. That you know, not saying anytime soon or anything like that. Would that be something that you pitch to somebody like, hey, look, why don't we bring this back to the UK? Because I know COD League tried this before COVID, and COVID came in, and that stopped anything before it even started.
I think there's room for it. I think the problem you have now is content is so accessible and free
Yeah.
for a lot of people. So putting a fully fledged production where you're able to benefit financially from it has been made a lot harder these days
Mm.
because of the amount of content that's easily accessible now. People are just doing it from their bedrooms.
Twitch streaming, YouTube streaming.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like how it what where your main back when we had the TV show, the only way you were getting gaming news was at E3 Gamescom. It was,
Yeah.
those kind of shows. It was reading IGN, it was reading Games Radar and all these outlets, Eurogame, wherever, whichever your preferred one is. It's that was the only way for you to absorb knowledge. Whereas now IGN pump out 5-6 videos a day. Eurogame are the same. There's 15 articles a day. So and on top of that, you do have the gaming community that are almost acting as third party information.
Yeah.
So where's the niche there? Where's the market? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Financially and viably, you still have to make that work. And is it worth people investing in that when it's already available?
Yeah.
So, it's something that I have thought about and considered, but it's making it work.
Uh,
And how do we do that? So we'll see. Never say never, as
last,
Triple H says.
always happens.
Yeah.
Last question I'm going to ask you on esports, because I know there's a lot of people going, we're 23 minutes in, there's still no wrestling. I know.
Wait, we've got lots of good stuff on wrestling coming up.
Exactly. See,
Lots.
sit tight. I'm a gamer. Okay. Obviously, like you put out tweets when you wanted to go back into esports and stuff like that, and I've been kind of, hey, COD League, Overwatch League, this guy over here.
I've greatly appreciated the support, by the way. Thank you.
No worries.
Yeah, sure, carry on.
Going into 2025, what kind of, like, because you've said you've done League of Legends and stuff. Is there any kind of, not dream, but actual place you'd love to be the caster for?
I would love to continue entertaining people. I would love to just be given those opportunities that I can connect with others. And that's what I get to do with the likes of Rainbow Six, ESL, Belong, whatever it is, FIFA, Call of Duty, Overwatch. Whatever those opportunities are, I want to be given that light to shine on others, to connect, entertain, give you an escape, and allow you to be sucked into this world that we're creating as a team. And that's what I love about esports, right? Because it's passionate. It's so unique, passionate, diverse. It allows others to become part of that universe. And that's why I chose esports to really focus and thrive in, because there's nothing else like it in the world. Yeah, it's all right going to stand in front of thousands doing comedy gigs or whatever you choose to do, that's your prerogative. But I just feel with the likes of esports, there is no world quite like it. So, in answer to your question, that is the honest answer. If you sat me down and went, "This is a bunch of products. Which one do you want to work on?" Call of Duty League has always been a dream, and we spoke about that last time. I Do you know what I really want to do
Go on.
that I've never done? I've never just had a Twitch channel and streamed, which is
It's all there.
yeah, it's probably the biggest shock to most, right? Because I've worked in the gaming industry in so many different elements over the years, from gaming journalism, from writing reviews for regional newspapers, to hosting a fully fledged gaming TV show, to them working in esports and traveling the world doing it. But yeah, I've never just had a Twitch channel and streamed.
Get ready for the watch parties are coming.
Yeah,
All the
yeah,
watch parties.
absolutely, man. Yeah, one day that's gonna come. I need to invest in a new PC like yours. I think
Oh, trust.
that's
Like, this
step
thing is an
one.
absolute beauty. Unfortunately, the one I got sold out now, so you missed out on the deal.
I noticed you didn't message me to tell me about the deal.
I
See,
messaged absolutely nobody. Just very quickly, because I brought up like on the PC. It's like I went back like 20 minutes later and that thing was sold out. So I definitely think someone fucked up when they put this thing on sale.
yeah,
100%
absolutely.
someone fucked up. Well, now we're going to talk about the wrestling for everyone that skipped on through all the esports stuff. Bastards.
Let's do it, man. Let's open this can of worms up.
I'm going to start off obviously with the home promotion. I'm going to start
Yeah,
off with OTT because you've been working with OTT for over 2 years now, and it's from day one. I'd say you've had some incredible moments. I'm going to talk a little bit about different matches and stuff in a bit, but 2 years with OTT plus, like, what? How has that been?
it's been a dream, man. Like, working for what I consider the biggest promotion outside of America
Yeah,
is nothing short of magical. Every time you step out in front of those crowds, and I've worked in Dublin and Belfast for it, and I've seen those crowds too. There is nothing like an OTT crowd on this planet. There isn't, and it's special. And just working with Joe, happy birthday. I know this goes out after his birthday, but
happy belated birthday, Joe.
yeah, happy belated birthday. But look, great guy to work with. He tells you exactly what he wants and how he wants it, and you just go out there and do it. And as long as you go out there and do it, man, that locker room's behind you every step of the way. And I couldn't be more thankful for the opportunity because Joe didn't really know me. I mean, Angus knew who I was through just seeing work and stuff, but I think other than that, I was largely unknown to the OTT crowd. Uh, but Joe rolled with me, and man, it's been an incredible journey, and we've got so much more to do.
100%, and especially with we'll get into a big weekend coming up in 2 weeks. But
Yeah,
now, if
yeah.
I was to list every name, I'd probably have a Roman scroll run out here. But like in OTT, to have called matches for the likes of Nick Nemeth, Trevor Lee, I think was it last year, John Moxley.
Yeah.
You've called matches for big names. What, like, how do you process the fact that Moxley's about to come out there and I'm gonna have to go, John fucking Moxley's here?
Yeah. um, Preparation is is a long process with an OTT show for me. The I get a lot of flattering words from Joe. Well, no, actually, sorry, no, I don't. But after the last show, I got a lot of flattering words from Joe. Um, and to get the messages that I get from not just Joe, from talent, from Matthew Macklin, who is just I don't know how he gets the level of quality he gets in such a short amount of time.
2 days and he'll have something up, and you're like, what?
He doesn't sleep. I just that man is a machine of machines. What a guy. But to get the feedback from those guys and the guys in the locker room that I am out here. I mean, Joe used a comment on me. I hope he doesn't mind me saying this. Uh, he said your knowledge of OTT is better than anyone's I've ever heard. And I don't have the privilege of commentating all year round for OTT, but I absolutely make sure I'm up to date.
Mm.
And I absolutely make sure that I spend 3-4 days researching everything I can. I want to find stuff that no one else can mention on commentary. Even the legend, the OG, the real MVP, Angus McAnally. I want to make sure I'm at least keeping up with him.
It's a tough dude to keep up with.
Oh man, he's in a how that guy hasn't been snapped up, I will never know. But we need to get that team back together. I do miss that guy a hell of a lot. So in answer to your question, I guess like how the in-ring guys tune in to their personas, their gimmick, their character, whatever is happening in that moment. I have to do the same.
Yeah.
Because Simon Hill, the commentator, is not Simon Hill that's going to the gym at 2 a.m. Like, yeah. So I have to tune in and I have to become the best commentator I possibly can be. I want to make you guys feel what I'm saying. And if you feel it, I'm feeling it. Everyone's feeling it. So to know John Moxley's going to come right through that door in a moment, and I'm going to have to really make sure that the first thing that leaves my mouth is a statement. I've got to make sure I'm ready for it. So again, it comes down to preparation. It comes down to research. It comes down to knowing what's expected and also being able to deliver that.
I want because a lot of people talk about how Angus and Jamie are like the best commentary team that we have around, and I agree with something you were saying there. A lot of it is because of passion, of just the way you kind of like nail something in, like a massive move or some like turn that's happened, the emotion you kind of give out to it. You have to really connect. But I've said this before. I remember I put out a tweet. It was I can't remember what the spot was or even what the comment was. It was during the Mox Trent match, and I remember there was a spot and you just delivered so well. I think it might have been the
German suplex, return German suplex up to a double clothesline.
And I remember putting out the tweet being like this is why Simon Hill is one of the best on the UK commentary, because it's just the way you deliver things. The way like John Moxley's coming out to the ring and you're, this is it. He's finally here. John Moxley is finally here. John Moxley is an OTT. Moments like that. It's about kind of building the story that we all know between, whether it's with Mox, Lycos, with any of the lads formerly in the draw and stuff, or even Trent Seven. It's getting that across, and I feel like you have done that so perfectly in OTT.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Now, there's a big one coming up.
Oh, there's a huge one coming up. It doesn't get bigger than this.
Honest to God, it doesn't. Finn Balor, JD McDonough, OTT 10th anniversary. I know you weren't there that night, but like seeing the videos online and stuff, what was your thought going, what the fuck?
That was my reaction. Yeah, I saw the video, and I know Jade went to watch. Jade Wolford, our ring announcer for OTT in Wolverhampton. She went to watch. She was in the crowd, and she posted something. But I saw the actual video, which was taken by, oh gosh, Niall Fox's podcast. I can't remember. And I just saw the reaction And I was like, that must have felt electric.
Deafening. Absolute deafening.
Because I remember I was probably just like the crowd. I heard Judgment Day and I was like, surely not. Surely not.
Yeah.
And then boom, there's the flash of the face. And I was like, oh my God, surely not. Oh my God. Oh my God. you know, unreal. Unreal.
So,
So I had the exact same reactions as everyone else
I'll tell you the
in that room.
exact feeling in the crowd. It was like they will meet their Judgment Day. And I think everyone kind of went, oh, the next show's called Judgment Day. Interesting. Weird. Okay. And then it was like the first like fizz and was like, hold on. Then you saw the logo and you're like, hold on.
yeah.
Jordan's face. Hold on. What? I remember my mate beside me. I grabbed like, no fucking way. Then JD comes up, massive pop. Everyone's like, JD's coming home. And then this Finn Balor, and you're like, what the fuck is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah.
It was. I don't think the recordings of the videos have done it justice. It doesn't sound as loud. You, honest to God, couldn't hear yourself reacting over everyone else reacting.
Nuts. No, but again, that's OTT, right? That's what we do. That's how OTT crowds are. But to have that moment where two of the icons of Irish wrestling are coming home, something that we thought would never, ever happen in a million years. And let's put it into perspective, the WWE Tag Team Champions are coming home to OTT on the 25th of this month for our 10-year anniversary. 10 years. That's all it's taken for OTT to put a giant footprint on the world of professional wrestling.
100%. I mean, like, because like people are going to remember this now as, I know superstars have appeared and done bits and pieces here and there. But OTT, as far as my knowledge goes, I could be wrong. Someone tell me if I'm wrong. This is like they're wrestling. We know they're wrestling, and this is one of the first times of the modern era this is happening.
Yeah.
Contracted superstars on an indie show.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think in this term, I think Tyler and Trent may have done. It took a while. That's why they held the tag titles for so long, so they weren't allowed to come over.
It's okay. All of OTT fans have forgotten about that.
Well, yeah. There's a reason we've forgotten about that. Swiftly moving. Yeah, it's But no, you're right. The modern era, the new era. This. But again, I think even if that was the case, right? Even if Tyler and Trent did, it is nowhere near the scale of what we have now.
Yeah.
Right. You have the pioneers, the inception of Irish wrestling right there. Two people who led it from day one. And no, not forgetting that JD's still pretty young, right? Finn's a little bit older, but these two are just icons in Irish wrestling, and they're coming home, man. They're coming home, and we're all going to get to experience it.
And you have to be there live because there's no guarantee you're going to see it on demand. So get the fucking OTT. I know they're putting out more stalls tickets, probably out by the time this goes out, but grab those things. Grab them and run.
Yeah, absolutely. I believe I remember speaking to Joe, and I think in the first 36 hours, we'd sold 3/4 of the tickets.
I remember when I was buying my ticket, and I was one of the early access ones that had the OTT on demand and got to go in, and I'm just watching all these lit up circles disappear. And I'm like, shit, get my ticket quick.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry, I cut you off there.
No. I was just going to say it's going to be electric. The atmosphere in that room is going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced.
I'm going to throw you into a bit of a fantasy booking spot here because
Go
with
for it.
so many tag teams and so many, not even tag teams, you could stick two individual superstars in there. Who would you fantasy book to go up against JD and Finn?
I'm going to be controversial here, and I know it probably won't happen because it's Dublin, but I 100% think the Kings of the North
Oh,
and Finn and JD would kick the living shit out of each other. That match would be one of the most remembered matches of OTT. Full stop. I would love that to be the case, personally. However,
I got my pinky ready.
um, if oh man, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because there's so many good tag teams right now.
You got,
So many.
and it's not even like the Irish scene. You look at like the guys who've been coming to the UK, like Lycos Jim, have been coming to OTT
Yeah.
shows, you know, and
Yeah.
there's so many teams you could be like, yeah, stick them in there.
Would you do Derice and Leon Slater?
Oh, you
But
could do
boisterous behavior.
you could do
You know?
Derice and Omari.
You could do, yeah. See, so you've got the 0121, you've got boisterous behavior. Would you team back up for the first time in how long? Derice and Dan Maloney.
Whoa.
Derice and Dan Maloney back together one night only against Balor and JD.
Why didn't Joe do a Wolverhampton show?
I did ask him this question.
But like for me, it would be the simple story of there's the OG leader, there's a war dog.
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
the biggest
Yeah.
seller to me, being like, fucking hell, there's Bullet Club of old and the war dogs now, you know?
Yeah. 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 I mean, you that sells itself.
Yeah.
You have got the IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion, leader against leader. One of the most biggest dominant factions in professional wrestling against one of the biggest, most dominant factions in professional wrestling. Look, that for me is fantasy booking. That's what I would love to see.
One thing you could do as well, you could have WWE of past versus WWE present. Sanity, our OTT World Champion Big Damo, Axel versus Jordan and Finn.
Yeah. I mean, that would be a battle, wouldn't it?
Oh my god. Well, like Damo's going to destroy them, but yeah.
yeah.
Damo's going to run through them.
Look, Joe, if you haven't thought of this already, we've just hit 3 bookings for you. So
Joe's now, he's going, fuck it, we're doing a battle royal. They want everybody, we'll just fucking give them everybody.
I'm just going to get a message. Can you not fly out Saturday instead? Yeah, we need to do a Wolverhampton show.
One prediction I want to talk about is kind of the prediction everyone's going for here. Because of the history with Jordan Devlin and obviously being a former member of the Social Elite is Bullet Smith, Sean Guinness, who again, history with those two, going to Japan and stuff like that. So much potential going on, but one thing is like for certain is people are going to absolutely have a brilliant night of wrestling ahead of them.
Oh man, yeah, unbelievable. I mean, look, I would love to see Thatcher in the mix there.
Oh please, God, put Thatcher in a fucking stadium show.
Thatcher for me is one of the most underrated talents in the entirety of European professional wrestling. I remember calling his match in Dublin or Belfast. That ridiculous tag match. It's like a 6-way, I think. Debbie Keitel was in it as well as Raven Creed. Yeah, Dublin. That match for me is still one of the best tag matches I've ever called in my life. It was unreal. Like, it was chaos from start to finish.
So Terry knows this, but I'm extremely biased when it comes to Terry Thatcher. because like we have a smaller promotion here where I live called Hard Knocks,
Yeah.
and he was the inaugural champion, and oh my god, he took that belt, ran with it, and put on banger after banger after banger. So I have been all about get Terry Thatcher on one more stadium show. Not even one more, just get him on a thousand more, because I feel like he has stepped up so much
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
last, I would say, let's say last year especially.
And the guy knows how to get heat. The
Yeah,
guy knows how to get heat, but he also does the other side really well. If he needs to, he can be the most lovable guy going. He's he's so dynamic, and I feel like there needs to be a bit more light on Thatch for me personally.
100%.
Um, Stephen Savage as well is another one. I think the guy's a unit, a great worker. But look, I'm happy I got to call a Debbie Keitel match. You know what my biggest pop at Wembley was in AEW this year? I was walking to the event to Wembley, and outside, my girlfriend's gone, "Oh look, LJ's there." So LJ's having this giant photo, and I'm thinking, "Oh, that's Debbie. Oh, that's like I'm just noticing all this Irish talent." And so I get there, and they're clearly with a few fans and stuff as well, and they all recognize me as well. So it's just like having this huge group hug, and like Debbie comes up, gives me a hug, and it was so great to see her. I'm glad I called a Debbie match, but I need to call a singles Debbie match. Like I want her and Raven Creed again. Like I just want to see that go. Uh, I think there's a lot more. Like that's my bucket list as well. I just want to call a singles hard hitting Debbie Keitel match. From Debbie Keitel way back. You
Yeah.
know. So yeah, that's on the list as well because I think she's an unbelievable talent.
100%. And I think like she proved that. Like I've said her last reign as OTT champion was brilliant. The story in her and Martina were able to put out, the fact that there
Yeah,
were so many seeds in it, I just absolutely loved it. I know Debbie's gone over to the UK a bit more now, and she's doing things with Rev Pro and stuff. So I'm delighted to see her kind of trying to not reinvent herself, but get like step up
yeah,
and get her name out there a bit more and become a much bigger star because she deserves it.
she do. I hope she follows Myla and goes over
Japan.
to Japan. Myla's another one I've called one match of hers, and I think even in that show I said on commentary, like, why is this girl not signed? Because she is doing stuff no girl, no talent, no wrestler does.
Mm.
And now she's showcasing that in Japan. She's teaming with Mina and people like Zeta Steel. I think Zeta's gone back to the US now, but she's really just putting herself out there. And finally, there's a spotlight on her, and
Yeah.
she deserves it. And Debbie Keitel, I think, also deserves that spotlight.
The only bad thing about all this is that we're losing them.
Yeah,
That's the only bad thing about it.
I hope, Joe, you've got some up your sleeve for the new era,
The
as
new
to
era
say.
of OTT.
Yeah.
I'm going to move on to UK wrestling because not only is Irish wrestling kind of in a bit of a boom again, UK wrestling I feel like is well. Like you look at places like Rev Pro that are selling out venues like I can't remember. I literally had it in my head. That big venue that they do the anniversary show every year.
The whole oh shit.
It was in my head and it went
Yeah.
straight out of my head.
Look, I'm drugged up on flu tablets, so
I have no excuse. So, but like places like
I know what you mean.
Crystal Palace and stuff like that, they're selling
Yeah.
those type of things. You got Progress doing the ballroom every time. UK wrestling, I find, is on such a boom with talents like JJ Gale, Connor Mills, all those guys. Luke on the rise up as well.
Yeah, yeah.
What are your kind of thoughts on the UK wrestling scene at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's it's out here booming. I do feel like there's a little bit of a plateau almost. So we had this huge rise, and all the talent from international went, shit, the UK is on fire again. We've got to get over here. So
Mm.
they all came over, and there's a lot of showcases. You know, we had Josh Alexander. He came over
Yeah.
and went to Sov Pro, didn't he? And that was incredible. You know, Gresham came over. Um, the list goes on. You know, we'll be here forever if I start naming everybody. But you know, and then we had like Cardona, obviously with OTT, Moxley. They've all gone away and gone, yeah, the UK is a place to be. The problem I think the UK's got at the moment is we do have a few. There's there's a wrestling term called cowboys. And I feel that there are a few wannabe promoters out there that are almost masking what the UK scene really is. The UK scene has always been about professionalism, hard hitting action, you know, the British strong style. You
Yeah.
come here, you're going to feel it, right? And I feel like there's almost a few people who are trying to be promoters that aren't promoters, and that's putting a little bit of a dim light on it. I'm not saying it's cancelling anything out. I'm
Shout
not
out
saying.
1PW. I
You're
just
gonna
had
get
to
us.
get it in there.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, talk about cowboys. They were next to Clint Eastwood. Um, but yeah, um, I think I just feel like the focus should be on the guys that are really working hard out there. Future Shock, True Grit. You know, there's James Carr is running amazing stuff over at TGW. He's a former talent. He's a businessman. North, North Wrestling
They're doing
are,
great stuff.
oh man, they're on the rise and they're not slowing down. TNT, doing incredible things. Rev Pro doing great things. Sov doing great things. You know, Shotty and Louis over there, they're really trying to change the game. They're trying to freshen things up every time. It's a learn on the job kind of thing, I feel, for them sometimes, but they are really focused on making British wrestling better, and they want the best people around them to do that. Progress, they had a change, and that change, I feel now, it's taken a little bit of time, but I
They're
feel like it's
slowly
flourishing.
building up.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And right now they're on the ascendancy. They're climbing, they're really moving. And it's great to see because they're now trying to fight for that flagship of British wrestling, especially here in the UK. And they're traveling around, they've traveled over to America, they've traveled over to the Middle East. And, again, it's a learn on the job thing sometimes, but a lot of it right now they're getting right.
Yeah, 100%. And like you mentioned a lot of promotions. Like for someone like me, I was watching the UK scene in like 2016 and stuff like that when like it was really building up, and I kind of dipped out.
Mm.
But within the last year, like I've been pulled right back in between like Rev Pro North as well. Like
Oh,
the first time I ever watched North was when Joe Hendry did the Scotty 2 Hottie match. And I was like,
yeah,
how is
yeah,
Joe still not signed to anything? And now he's gone off and done like things he should have been doing already. And like with
yeah.
TNA, NXT, he's an amazing fucking talent. I'm so happy he's finally getting that moment. Um, but we were talking about like OTT and doing commentary there. You do commentary in the UK as well. Like you do with Future Shock, isn't it?
Yep. Future Shock, TNT. There's a lot. So last year I was absolutely everywhere. I'm still doing kamikaze as well on the side now and again. Uh, but this year I realized that everything I was doing last year. So I'd have sporadic gigs with North when we did the WXW crossover.
Mm.
And that taught me so much, by the way. Mark Shuttle, big shout out to him at WXW, who you think how everything works by now, but you always learn something new and you've got to be open to that. I feel like that's so important in this job because you're never the finished product. No one ever is a finished product. We're all here to learn, we're all here to grow. Um, but yeah, he really taught me some new stuff about ring announcing, how to hold yourself, how to carry yourself. And I remember after the first introduction I got out there, I was a little nervous. It's a new promotion. It's also a collaboration with possibly the second biggest. Well, they're definitely fighting with OTT for top of the
Mm.
tree of the biggest promotion in Europe. Um, WXW. Uh, so I was a little nervous, and I went back out there, and Mark Shuttle said, "Do you feel a bit naked out there?" And I was like, "Sorry, could you expand? Like, what do you mean?" And he said, "Well, you held your arm down and almost across yourself, as if you were covering up." I was like, "Right." So he explained why there's a certain stance that they take on TV because it's more open, it's more flowy, and it allows other people to come in. And ever since that day, I've totally changed the way I do that.
Hmm.
And it was all because of him. And, it's become a bit of a staple now. And yeah, look, the UK scene is on fire, and Future Shock is a home. It is my home. And, I've got to have some amazing experiences there. More so recently, just kind of living through my girlfriend, and she's been doing incredible things. And I've had some amazing times, with Future Shock. I really have. And I couldn't be more grateful to Sam Bailey and the team there who have just gone, this is your home now. I know you don't live in Manchester here, but this is your home. And it certainly has been.
I mean, you could be going to worse places than Manchester.
Yeah. I've been to worse places than Manchester.
But look, you've brought this up a few times now. I think I'm gonna start, sugarcoating and stuff like that. I want to talk about your partner.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
I want to talk about again. I'm gonna butcher the name again, possibly Leah Raven.
Yep. Got it in one.
See, because we say it Leia here. See,
I
I'm
know.
slowly learning things. How did this even come to be?
So myself and Leah never actually met in wrestling, which is really weird that we both work in it, but we never met through wrestling. Uh, I I knew her because I used to DJ a certain wrestling promotion we can't mention now as after parties. And yeah. So um I just used to I was already in a relationship then, and I used to kind of see her about, and look, everyone everyone is aware of people, and she was a good looking girl, and but nothing was ever said or came of it. And I remember she bought me a beer once, and I turned to her, I was like, I can get these free, right? I work here.
Ah, fuck! I wasted that fiver.
And I don't think we ever had many more interactions than that. And then after COVID and after Poland, I saw her on Facebook and added her, and I was a little bit flirty. Uh, and we just caught up and had a catch up and stuff. I wasn't looking for anything really because I'd just come out of a very painful breakup. But the world works in mysterious ways, man. And, here we are. So she was training with this certain promotion, but she didn't really get anywhere. And Future Shock invited her in, and she trained how to be a wrestler at Future Shock because they do things the right way. And ever since, she has just lit the scene on fire. She has now become, she's past that kind of trainee climbing phase, and she's kind of in between that that little bit in the middle where it's like, okay, how do I make the next jump up to being a star of the country?
Yeah.
And she's fighting for that day in day out, and she's working so hard. She's held two championships. For the one has already passed a year. The other one is pretty close. Future Shock Women's Championship is one of them, which she is proudly um, across all of her socials. Let people know that she is the Future Shock Women's Champion. She's made it relevant again, and that's not me being biased, but look, we have eyes, right? Um, Sometimes on the indie scene, you can get lost in just going from one promotion to another. And even if you're a champion, you're just going from one promotion to another. There are certain talents out there that will still proudly build their own story, create their own moments, and go, look, I'm a champion. I'm the champion. And that's what Leah's done with Future Shock. She has made that title relevant. She's made it important. She's broke records. She's now had the most successful title defenses in Future Shock Women's Championship history. She's not held the belt a year yet.
Yeah.
The only person who was the person she's beat is Lana Austin for that record.
It was a big fucking
game. That's to beat the personally what I would consider the biggest woman in professional wrestling in the UK, to beat her own records that's a big statement, man. That it would be for anyone, if that could be any talent, but to beat Lana Austin's records, I think in any promotion is it's a statement, it's an achievement, and that's what Leah's done. It's what she's doing. She's still doing those things, and she's working so hard. I mean, look, Nick Nemeth didn't retweet a tweet of Leah. Nick Nemeth posted a photo of him and Leah. He was holding the IWGP Championship, and Leah was holding the Future Shock Championship in a photo together at an event they were both at. They were both working. And Nick Nemeth just tweeted this photo out of the blue and went, two champions just showing off their range. She's had interactions with Drew McIntyre about this title. She's had I'm probably forgetting most of it, interactions with Mandy Rose. Trish Stratus actually watched a match.
Oh, that's a huge thing.
Look, she's getting around, and she's really made it known that she's a fighting champion, and I couldn't be more proud, as you can tell.
Well, this is one of my questions, because sometimes obviously you get a front row seat into seeing her matches and stuff like that. Like, there's times you're in commentary, or there's times that either you'll be at the show or just watch whatever kind of like video might get sent your way or something. Like, what is like actually getting to watch this rise? And I joked about this before the interview, but do you turn into a bit of a Corey Graves there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I absolutely do. There's a joke backstage at Future Shock amongst the guys. It's certainly an in-house joke. But I do put emphasis unintentionally whilst calling Leah's matches if I do get the opportunity to do so. But as a front row seat, even just, sitting in our homes, hashing things out and talking and sharing ideas and thoughts. I remember when this girl went to her first Future Shock training session and still wasn't sure whether she wanted to do this, because she'd been hurt and burnt during the speaking out movement, and she was just done with wrestling. Like, there was too much damage. And then I saw her slowly, she got a booking instantly in a Royal Rumble again, and it was a Battle Royal, sorry, again, and she got put up against Gia Adams. She come away from that, and immediately, no one knew who she was at this point. She got a huge reaction like that because she made this huge entrance. And I remember, the biggest referee we've got on these shows, James Greenwood, saying to her what an incredible entrance and performance she just put out for that minute and a half. So she started feeling things out, and you know, finding her place. And that took a little bit of time.
Yeah.
I think what really established everything is when she won the Future Shock Women's Championship. I think what changed everything before that was when she was given the opportunity to challenge for the Progress Women's title against Lana Austin when Lana Austin held that in a 2 out of 3 falls match, and that really put Leah on the map,
Yeah.
as to say everyone paid attention. Then, like, you know, look, if this, firstly, the Progress Women's title is being defended outside of its home promotion, that doesn't happen, and secondly, Leah Raven's getting the opportunity. And Progress were there. They were tweeting, Leah, bring the title back to the ballroom, you know, like, we hope you beat Lana because Lana's terrorizing.
Yeah.
You know, and Leah got that little bit of a taste of what it's like to climb the ladder. And, you know, she's no longer the trainee. So she's tasted that little bit and she wanted more and more and more and more. And yeah, I wouldn't say the only time I've got nervous watching her was in the street fight she had with Lana Austin. That was, oh man, that especially the suplex through the door. I just
Almost put the headphones down. I was like, fuck.
yeah yeah yeah. I remember there was a talent on helping with socials that day, and he looked over to me and was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "No." But man, yeah, I was sweating that day, and she put on the best match of her life. Both of them did. Lana and her went out there and stole the show. You know, fans of Future Shock were putting all over socials that that was match of the weekend. There was 2 shows, 16, 17 matches, and not taken away from anyone that weekend. Look, Future Shock has, in my personal opinion, one of the best rosters around right now in the UK scene, because they invest in their talent and they train them and they really put a spotlight and an emphasis on what it's like to train and wrestle for Future Shock. It's a home. It's a family, and they went out there and they really did the business, and both of them came out, you know, battered and bruised, but they both came out really they really put on a show.
I'm like, for like someone like myself they're like hearing all this and going, "Jeez, I really should check this promotion out." Where do you find Future Shock?
So Future Shock, you can watch all their shows on Vimeo. The worst platform out there. I know a lot of people, a lot of promotions use it, and I get why. It's easy, it's accessible. But yeah, all of their shows are on there. £4 a month, I think,
Cheap.
and you can watch as much as you want. They have, you know, 20 years worth of shows for you to watch. But if you want to check out people like Leah Raven, Lana Austin, Lizzie Evo, if you want to check out Joe Blazer against Big Damo, it's all on there. You know, and we really invest in characters and we showcase how those characters have come to be, and we tell stories. More importantly, we tell stories, because I feel like there's only a handful here in the UK that are really telling proper, full, engrossing, captivating stories, and Future Shock is definitely one of them.
Well, you saw me, because my biggest thing with wrestling is I'm a stories guy. I love stories.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's been the biggest thing for Leah, is because she didn't want to just go out and start getting, she turned to Future Shock and said, I don't just want to have nothing matches. I want stories, because I want this title to mean something. I want to mean something. And that's exactly what's happened, because this whole feud that she's had with Lana has gone on now since she debuted for Future Shock over 2 years ago. And it all culminated eventually into this 3 stages of Future Shock, they called it. Which, you know, the main part of that was obviously the street fight. And they went out there and tore the house down. And it's one of the most emotional captivating storytelling matches that I think both of them have ever done.
Mm.
And that's with the help of Future Shock, with the help of Sam Bailey, being able to put all that together with Leah and Lana. And they went and told a real story that meant something. And there were a lot of callbacks in that match too that you look back and you go, oh shit, wait, Lana did that in the Progress Women's title match a year ago. Wait, Leah did that the first time she ever met Lana.
Mm.
Like, you know what I mean? And that's long-term storytelling, and that's how important it was for them. And they also had this cool little spot that was a throw to, was it Lita and Jacqueline with a fire extinguisher? They had that cool little spot that they wanted to acknowledge to two of the pioneers.
Yeah.
And did so. I did this little edit for them, which I think is on Leah's social media, where I overdubbed JR and Jerry's commentary onto that spot. And it just fits perfectly. So it's important. And I am really proud. And it sounds a bit OTT, lack of a better term. But look, I think if you can't be the biggest mark for your own partner, then what are you doing?
You're doing something wrong. You're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
One more thing in wrestling I want to bring up is something that was announced on your own socials, which is pro wrestling industry space.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
So this is an idea, concept inspired by Gabe Sapolsky, who, of course, is WWE scout talent, does a lot of seminars throughout the US, has signed some huge names that you see in NXT, works really hard alongside Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and people like that. And he used to do this pro wrestling industry space where it's inclusive for just people that work within the industry, whether you're in-ring talent, an announcer, camera operator, referee. It does if you work in the industry and you work in the business, you're a part of those industry spaces. Spaces, obviously, on Twitter or X, wherever you want to call it, is an audio-based. It's almost like it's not a podcast, is it? It's like it's like an audio-spaced, like a room that you create. Yeah. So think Instagram Live almost. And you create this and anyone can come up and, talk about their experiences. They can network, they can connect, they can share their experience. And I want to give that platform to the UK talent as well. So the only issue we had with Gabe's is a lot of us weren't awake at 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning, our time. So we'd only catch half an hour of it, and sometimes they used to go on for 2-3 hours because he used to get so many good talent coming through and talking, sharing their experiences, networking, connecting. And it's now something that I feel we can do more of. So I put the post out there, and it's an idea I've been playing with for a very, very long time. And it's me trying to figure out how I make it work without seeming like I'm just stealing an idea. Which is why I wanted to include Gabe's tag in that tweet. And, Gabe very politely and very kindly has got in touch and given me his blessing for this and said, I hope this goes well. Like, if you need anything, give me a shout. And I thought that was really nice because he's the creator of this thing that I hope to also build on from a UK perspective, or anyone else that doesn't have access to US time zones. So it's about getting anyone that works in the wrestling industry and the business to connect and network with those that they normally wouldn't have the opportunity to do so. I'll also have guest speakers on. So I'm going to have Progress CEO, Lee McAteer. I have an in-ring talent to announce very soon. I'm just waiting for full confirmation. I've had a conversation today. She's very, very, very interested. And she's just got to check some dates and times and get back to me. So as long as that's all good, we'll have a very prominent in-ring talent within the UK scene who has wrestled at the highest level to also come and just give her thoughts on, it could be the presentation. How important is presentation within professional wrestling, and how does that make a difference to your product, your brand, your growth? How do you make yourself aware more to promoters and network and
It's
bookers?
like an insider for like, especially for people who are kind of not breaking in, but kind of starting inside. Like, well, this is how
Yeah,
I contacted this person or how I got here.
absolutely, absolutely. And look, there might be some vets out there that will also tune in and give their insights and thoughts, but also learn something themselves. And that's the point of this. It's just creating a space that's inclusive to everyone within the business where we can all just share, we can talk, we can network, we can, um, you know, build each other up and help grow the business
Yeah.
from more of an inclusive standpoint. And that's my idea behind it. So I hope the first one's going to go well. It's 15th of October for any talent that are watching, listening to this at 7 p.m. UK time. I'd love you to come and join. And, if you've got any stories and stuff to share, please, feel free to come up and talk because like I said, it's an open space. This isn't just me chatting to Lee McAteer or chatting to the potential talent we've got to announce. This is those guys talking about elements that will help others
Mm.
utilize those tools. And then it's me taking a step back to help the other talent come up, talk about their experiences, their knowledge, share their insights, ask those questions. Maybe they want to ask Lee or this other talent some questions and get their advice and thoughts and perspective.
Yeah.
And that's completely open.
And like, in terms of viewer watching, where can they watch or listen to this?
This is Twitter Spaces. So, how do I look at this? Right, let me look. So, as you can see, so when you click on, what is wrong with Twitter these days?
A
There's
lot
a
of
lot of
things, but that's a whole different
yeah,
podcast.
yeah, yeah. Oh, there we go. No. So when you go here, you can see a purple thing that says space. It's a space, right? So you then click on that, create your space. So you can join this space. If this space was live, you can just click. It will be at the top of the screen, like here. Like
Yeah.
it'll say so and so is live, and you just click it and you join.
So,
It's audio based platform, so it's not video format. It's audio based, and you just you can have it on loudspeaker, plug your headphones in like a normal person, and not be annoying on the bus. And
yes.
yeah.
Forget everything else we talked about. That's the podcast now.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't be annoying playing your awful trap music on a bus. If you love trap music, good on you. I don't personally want to listen to it whilst I'm trying to
Or
listen to
phone
my own.
calls. I don't need to hear what
Yeah.
fucking your neighbor Mary thinks about fucking so and so. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Loudspeakers become a problem more than a
Fucking
solution.
problem. Uh,
But yeah, so that's where you can go for anyone working within the business industry. Obviously, the caveat is that if you don't work in the business or work in the industry, um, in the politest possible way, you will be removed from the space
no.
because it's very inclusive. We want this to be an open and honest, safe space for talent to talk, and obviously for anyone else that is part of the industry, where that safe space becomes very personal to the business, and we're able to expand that for the fans, for the people watching, for the people listening and wanting to get involved. So you will the fans, the viewers, the people in attendance will see, eventually my intentions are to for all of those to see the remnants of that eventually, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help and build people up and also teach others, which means they'll take that to the ring or take that to their cameras and the photographers or the announcers, and that's the plan.
I hope it all goes well. It sounds really really good, especially just as you're saying there, just to get better. Just kind of maybe you're kind of like, is that really working? Hey, can I get your advice on that? Oh well, this is what I think about it. Okay, I will or
Yeah,
won't do that again, or I
yeah,
will improve on that.
yeah,
So 100
absolutely.
percent.
And I think having someone like Lee McAteer, who, like we were talking about with Progress earlier, they're on that ascendancy, to have him go, look, this is what Progress look for when we're booking talent.
Mm.
And this is what's important for us, but for telling stories if you're on our shows. So then the people coming up or the people that are looking to connect with Progress have that opportunity to talk to Lee McAteer. They have that opportunity to pick his brain and go, look, this is where I'm at in my career right now. And I know you mentioned this about this is what you look for, but how would you express to me for what do I need to do to get there to be on your show? Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
again, it's just having that opportunity to and again, you look at it, and we're just trying to bring you more talent to more shows, you know, and that's what we're here to do.
100%. And I think it would work absolutely perfect, especially for people who might be like, I'm not gonna name any names like that. They might be like, okay, I really want to work there, but I don't know how to get in contact with him. Oh shit, there he is, right there, right
Yeah,
now on
yeah,
X. Boom, join in.
yeah, yeah,
I have
100%.
two more questions, well, two more topics I want to talk about,
Go
and
for it.
I'll let you enjoy your evening then. But first one I want to talk about is, since we last spoke to you, but on a massive, massive health, we'll say work. You've been putting in the grind and stuff like that, in the gym and stuff like that. How are you feeling now doing all this?
Yeah, look, I've just come off an all-inclusive holiday. So,
Even better.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, look, I worked really hard on my body, and you know what? I'm not ashamed to say this because it was brought up in a conversation uh by someone within the business having a conversation to my girlfriend, asking if that's something that I dealt with, and I do struggle with body confidence, but I also enjoy feeling good because of the way that I can look.
Mm.
So when I'm working ridiculously hard in that gym and I am being so strict, my girlfriend's there wolfing down some cake and I've got a few grapes. Um, it's it's tough, but I I love it. I love it, and I do feel good. At the moment, I'm feeling a bit sluggish. Like I said, I had 2 weeks in Mexico, then I came back and I've been ill. So I haven't actually been to the gym properly for about 4 weeks now. So I've had some time off, which, you know what, recovery is very
People
good.
need.
And yeah, Corvin says this all the time, and that guy is a unit. But he says all the time, recovery is the most important part of all of this. So, it's good to take a step back, reevaluate, and then, clear your head and look at it from a different level and go, right, so how do I get to the next level now? How do I really push a little bit more? Because I've still got one goal I want to do with fitness and my body. I've always wanted a gym/fitness photo shoot. Just to say that I've done it, just to say that, look, this is what I was able to do with my body. Um, and soaking that pride of that hard work.
Mm.
And that's kind of the goal. So I'll be working hard throughout winter, up until probably March time for that, I reckon.
Long, long push.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've got to wait for this bit of flu to go away because my gosh, I know everyone's been struggling with it lately, but yeah. So as soon as that's over, then the planning, kind of gets put into place.
So I'm back into the gym, back putting in the
Yeah.
grind, and recover. I actually kind of learned that the hard way because I remember recently I've started doing a little like I got an app on my phone. The one thing I hated when I started the gym was not knowing how to properly use things.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be doing something and I'm like, that fucking feels awful. This is how you do it. But this app I got shows you exactly what you need to be doing. And I 110% went in. Maybe should have dialed back a bit. Fucked up my knee.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
only out. It's only now because I haven't done anything now for about a week and a half because I've just been like, yeah, knee's fucked, and I'm like, yeah, maybe I should probably take a few days off.
So the biggest advice for that, it's not what you lift, it's how you lift.
Yeah.
We can all throw weights up. We can all just, grab a 20 kg dumbbell and launch it in the air, right? But can you control it on the way up? And even more importantly, can you control it on the negative?
Mm.
Because if you can't, then you're not doing anything. And, you see people, it just does my head in. Like when they're doing like curls and stuff, like just swinging their back to try and get it up. And I'm like, you're meant to be working your biceps, right? The only thing that should be moving is your elbows up, work the negative. And it's just, yeah, it's not what you lift, it's how you lift. I could give you a broomstick and you could do more with that if I taught you how to use it properly than I can do with a 20 kg if I can't lift it properly.
Mm.
That's what I was taught very early on, years and years ago. It's not what you lift, it's how you lift.
Last question I want to ask you. We are 2 months left of 2024 going into 2025.
Jesus, why did you have to do
I
that?
know, right? So I've had this. I've had the realization so much in the last couple of weeks. Is there any small goals left in 2024 to complete, and what's the aim for 2025?
I think finishing on 2024, I just want to go out and continue to entertain others. I just want to continue to know that I've done the best I can do. And, look, we're 2 weeks away from OTT, right?
Yeah.
I want to come away from that, not just say, oh, I commentated a Finn Balor match. I want to come away from that and go, was I good enough for that product? Did I go out there and give my absolute best for this promotion that I love, for Joe and for everyone involved? And then I want to go away from that and go, are people able to connect with that? Right. And then towards the end of the year, I think it's a quieter period for me compared to usual. There'll be a lot of DJing, no doubt, but in terms of broadcasting, there's not a lot more left of the year. I think at the moment it always changes. It always and it will. I think I've got like 6 shows left for the year on commentary. So, I'm just going to see those out and do the best I can, reevaluate in the new year. As for 2025, it's for me now, and I said this to Leah when we were chatting about what's next. We're looking for a house, so we're going to move in together, and that's the next step. And I also feel what that will give both of us is more opportunity to deliver more of ourselves to the world. And I think for 2025, for me personally, I feel like it's make or break now. So I'm going all out. Like everything is coming in 2025. I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing, it's seen and heard all over the world. And I want to make sure that those people that are seeing and hearing are, I don't want to say influence. I want to say that, I'm helping give you an escape to something. I'm helping entertain and make you live in the world that I live in, help you be a part of that. So I'm going to go out. I've got goals. I am going to be back in esports. Something already confirmed that isn't getting announced until January, sadly. So
Bro,
I
it's
yeah.
so close.
um, but I am back in esports. There's stuff already in the bag there. I no doubt will be back with OTT after that as well. I don't know when OTT are coming back to Wolves. I don't even think Joe knows at the minute. I think he's got that much on his plate. He's like, yeah,
Man,
we'll figure that out.
he's got 2 weeks of absolute nothing but stress.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of why I've left him alone for a few weeks. But yeah, it's we're gonna roll out of this year feeling good, and I'm gonna roll into next year like absolutely hammering every side of the coin, man. And I'm gonna make sure that it's the last couple of years that I feel like I've got on the rise, because I think I've had the best 3 years of my entire life. I don't think I've been as well documented. I don't know if that's the right term. As what I've been in the last 3 years. So I think I need to build on that and make sure that I really do go out here next year with a bang. And there's already, like I said, there's already stuff confirmed within esports, within professional wrestling, and yeah, I need to go all out.
Well, no doubt 2025 will be an absolutely big year for yourself. I do hope we get to see you back in OTT after, not even in Wolverhampton, I mean back in like Dublin or something after the anniversary show. But it's always a pleasure getting to catch up with you.
No, man, honestly, thank you so much. I always love coming back on here, and thank you for having me back. It's always a good chat, and we've got a lot in common, dude. So it's an easy conversation.
That's what I said to lads. Yeah, I got this one. I need nobody. Just give me an hour to talk about games. Unfortunately, for wrestling podcast, so it wasn't allowed an hour.
They're trying to keep a leash on you, mate. But it's yeah, it's no, mate. It's good, and thank you so much for also just look. I always appreciate people that give those like myself a platform to talk and express and share what we're getting up to. I keep getting asked when my podcast is coming back, but I think you guys are just doing too much of a good job that I don't need to anymore. So
when's that Twitch channel?
Yeah. We're waiting for that. No doubt by the time that comes around, my girlfriend will be like, look, you're just too loud.
What do you mean? I have all the sound stuff in. Yeah, it's not working. It's just
yeah, she's a bookworm as well. So she's like a reader. She likes to chill out, get lost in a fantasy book, and
doesn't need you shouting, watching an OTT or playing something, going, "Holy shit!"
Yeah, that's exactly what she needs. Like, why did I choose to move in with this guy?
Things were so much better when we were in different houses.
Yeah, we were in different postcodes. Life was easier. But no, man, thank you very much.
No,
appreciate it.
I hope 2025 goes well. And is there where can people find you?
They can find me everywhere. So Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Facebook and Instagram, Simon H Official. That's on all of those. TikTok as well, which I've started putting like commentary clips on there, and they're going really well. So you can see some of my commentary work up there. Most of it is OTT at the moment. There's some stuff from Future Shock, yeah. Look, gotta give the spotlight to my family over there. So my adopted family. So yeah, you can go to TikTok as well, Simon H Official. If you do want to see some DJ stuff, if you're even bothered, DJ Simon Hill on TikTok. So yeah, apart from that is me. And look, I might as well shout her out. Mind you, she told me she's changed to Twitter, so I don't know what it is now. Hang on. But I will do the honourable thing.
If you don't, that house might not be happening.
It's true. So I've typed a name and it's not even coming up. What has she done?
I had it earlier on.
Oh, there it is.
Through your things.
Yeah, so there you go. So that is her, Leah Raven PW. So if you follow her on Twitter, she's on Instagram as well. Of the Leah Raven, there you go, the Leah Raven PW. So yeah, if you go on Twitter, that's her. Go and follow her journey. Look, yes, I might be biased boyfriend. That's hard to say, but she's genuinely killing it, and I'm really proud of her. And I'm enjoying living through her at the moment. And we're talking about the places I worked last year compared to this year. I made a decision to step back a little bit because I completely burnt myself out last year. Whereas now I'm delivering the best work I've ever delivered because I'm not straining myself on traveling the country every single week.
Yeah.
But what I'm getting the opportunity to do is see how amazing, Leah is doing, especially recently working with ICW as well. And, Drew McIntyre, who was it? Drew McIntyre, Carmelo Hayes. Who's the one with A-Town Down?
Grayson Waller or Austin Theory?
Yeah, Grayson Waller. Yeah. So, he was
Carmelo
Hayes, Grayson Waller, and Drew McIntyre all watched her and Lana's match at ICW. Brilliant. Yeah.
So she had a lot of good stars watching over her.
Yeah, she has. And, not many people in this business get that opportunity, and she's taken them all. So,
and all the socials, if you can't find them, it will be below. When you were showing her things, I was really hoping there wasn't like a follows you thing. I absolutely would have died laughing. Absolutely would have died laughing. But Simon, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, man.
Let's maybe not wait a year and a half next time.
No, definitely not.
But you can follow all our socials, TheFiveMarks Podcast, everywhere but X, and I did this completely backwards. TheFiveMarks Pod on TikTok and X, TheFiveMarks Podcast everywhere else. Thank you again so much for coming on, Simon. As for now, we are officially ding, ding, dong.